Welcome, everybody. We are on the deck. This is Deck Life. I got my co-host with me. I am Mr. J. I am here to run this conversation because we about to get down with it. And I want to introduce my two beautiful co-hosts. Introduce yourselves, ladies.
Hi, I'm Leisha.
And I am Lisa, aka I said what I said.
And she will say it. Watch and listen. All right. So, all right, y'all. So listen, grown ups, grown conversation, grown talk. So let's get into it. So in this modern day right now, you hear a lot of discussion circled around submissive relationships. Women needs to be more submissive to their mates. What's your take on this? Uh-oh, I see the face already, but come on, what's your take?
I don't see nothing wrong with it. I don't see nothing wrong with it.
Really? Expound on that. Come on, now. You got to give me more than just that.
To a certain degree, because that's what I was brought up
A
on.
certain degree.
To a certain degree, that's how I was raised. Because I saw my mother cater to my father.
Mm.
I mean, to the point a little bit it did get on my nerves sometimes. Like anytime I really needed to ask for something big, it always was ask your father, and then come back or she ask your father. Even though my father always be like ask your mother. I'm like, why I gotta go ask him? He always gonna say ask you. She like, cause he's the man. She be like, that he's the man of the house. But he gets the big piece of chicken because he's, but he's the man of the house. And I was just taught to make sure to cater to your man.
I just want to make sure something is catering to your mate and being submissive to your mate the same thing, or is those two different things?
Come on now.
Because you use catering.
You sure did.
I did use catering. But it's kind of I think they run neck and neck. Okay,
Lisa, what you think? Come on now,
Absolutely
say what you're gonna say.
Those two things are not the same for me.
Really?
Speaking for me.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Educate us.
Catering to your man is making certain that the basic and loved things that he likes are there for him, right? Catering to your man is understanding that what he needs before he verbalizes that he needs it.
Yes.
Okay. Catering to your man is being that rock for him when he needs you, but also being that freaking the sheets when he needs you to. You know, submissiveness to me, and having grown up with older people that raised me in a family of older people, I watched a lot of submissiveness that had a lot of passive aggressiveness associated with it. So for me, it's kind of like that. She couldn't speak in public unless he allowed her to. Okay. She couldn't wear certain things unless he allowed her to. She couldn't go a certain place, couldn't do a certain thing because it was that allowed thing we were talking about earlier. So to me, when I cater to my man, I'm giving everything that he needs that I already know. I've got my list checked off of the things that he needs. He doesn't have to ask me. It's not even a question. And he does the same for me. Do I submit? What does that mean? That means that there are things that he leads me in because I don't have the experience or the knowledge to move us through that. I defer to him because there are some things that he is better at than I am. And in the same context, there are things that he lets me lead in. I shouldn't say let's see, there I go. There are things that I step up and step into because I have the experience or I have the knowledge. So to me, they're two different things.
Okay.
But
some people also, some women may submit so they can make the man feel like he's in charge.
Yes.
It's part of building up that man's ego.
That passive aggressive thing that I said first, right? Remember I said, part of that is.
Yeah, you submitting, but you also know that you have that power. You submitting, it makes you look like you a sub, but you also know that you were still kind of in control.
Oh, wait a minute. She threw some terminology out there. Did you hear that? Jay?
This is going to be a 2-part show, y'all. I can tell you right now.
She said, you might appear to be a sub. I heard that, by the way. Sub versus dom. Is that
Yes.
what we're talking
But you a
about?
switch.
Oh, okay.
But let's slow up a minute because we got a lot of things here to unpack. There's some unpacking to do. All right. So I want to throw a couple things out there. Number one, when you use the word catering to, is that a reciprocal thing? And also, is
Absolutely.
it earned?
Yes.
That's number one.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Number one. Number two, when you say that I need to build his ego. So if you're going to build an ego, that means you can tear it down at the same time.
Of course. Of course. We have that power.
Why would a
But
woman?
we wouldn't want to tear it down. That's when you just want to build up that man.
Okay. So if you need to build him up, why are you with him?
Because he's out there in the world getting beat up every day. He's going to
why
work.
Are you with him?
But he's still my man.
Why are you with him? Because again, if you gotta build him up.
No. I don't mean it like that.
See, wait. Let me use this analogy my aunt used to always bring up. She would have rather had a man that was like ready baked mix. All right, like crust that's already made. I just got to put the filling in and throw it in the oven. If I got to start from scratch and I got to build you, I'm just saying, I'm throwing it out there. That's why I said we got a lot to unpack.
It goes back to indoctrination.
Yes.
It's not a word that we want to use on a regular basis, Leisha, and it's not a knock to you or any other woman that sees it that way. We were taught, as you just said, he is out there in the world getting beat up every day. He should be able to come home and be at peace and be taken care of by his woman. Okay. The problem happens when you have men that don't know how to reciprocate, because what they've been taught is I am the king of the castle. I get the first plate. I get the first this. I get the that. I get the I. If that's what works for those people, have at it. But what Leisha said, I have heard so many women in my lifetime say, I have to build him up. I have to make him think he's the boss. No, you both need to actually be bosses together. Because an unbalanced relationship, and this is where we go back to talking about what a man allows you to do and what a woman, because let's be clear, there are some women that don't allow their men to talk to other women. Those same women that cater to their men, say, why are you smiling and grinning up in her face? Why are you talking to her? Why is she having the key with you? Because they have been built to believe that if I'm giving you all of this, then your whole focus should only be on me. That means no other conversations. You can't come and go as you want to.
And I own you.
And I
own you. And let me just throw something out there in this conversation, because a lot of times what women do is they feel they have to give the dude the big piece of chicken because he's carrying a winglet. I'm just saying. Because let me say it again.
Did he say a winglet?
A winglet. That's what I said. I'm taking your tagline. That's what I said. But the thing is this though, and that's why I want to unpack this, because so many times when a guy is looking for someone to be submissive, and like y'all was saying, is that it's a lot of it comes from the Bible and the way we were taught, knowing at the same time that we were little watching real dysfunctional relationships. And we want to turn around in our adult life and mirror the dysfunctional relationships that we saw and say that this is okay. No, you don't come and you supposed to get your plate first just because you're a male or you're the quote unquote man of the house, but you ain't got no job. But you ain't holding the house down. But just because you have this anointment that's going on, that you're supposed to get something
because you have testicles.
We watch the dysfunction
because you have
growing up on this bullshit.
Let me tell you, when I was growing up, when I was growing up, I remember one of my ex-boyfriend, I was in high school. I went to his house and his mother just finished making dinner. She was like, all right. She was like, you could fix his plate. And I'm like, I could fix what? I was like, well, he got two hands. He can't. She was like, oh no, he don't. She said, he don't fix his own plate. You have to fix his plate. I was like, oh, I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work.
Oh, you know how it was. You knew it wasn't gonna work. You don't know how. You knew it wasn't gonna work.
He didn't do laundry. He didn't fix his own plate. None of that.
He wasn't worth shit. She was raising ain't shit.
Ain't shit, ain't gonna have shit, ain't gonna be shit, ain't gonna never do shit.
I was like, oh, okay.
Your ain't shit self.
Teach him.
But see, once again, like I said,
that was a mama's boy.
This stuff was passed down and we picked it up as if it was right. No, you don't supposed to be, because again, if you're going to be submissive on one end, then your mate should be submissive on the other end. Well. It shouldn't be one-sided.
So I'm going to jump in, and Leisha, I'm going to give you a memory. When we moved from New York to South Carolina and we were living with family when we first got there before our house was ready, I knew my great-grandparents. I'd seen them on holidays and such. But what I'd never seen was all of us sit down at the dinner table as a huge family together. And I saw my great-grandfather tell my grandmother, my mother, and my aunt, you feed the children first. Mm. The babies have to eat first because they can't go out and hunt and you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He said, I'm a grown man. I provided this food so that my children could eat. Mm-hmm. Okay. When I started dating right out of, I had a boyfriend in high school, but it wasn't like a, it was supposed to be, my father was nuts. But anyway, I went to his house for Sunday dinner. And all the women were on one side of the house and all the men were on the other side of the house. And when it came time to eat, the men went and sat at the tables. They tucked their napkins in under their chins. They sat there with their fork and knives at the table. And they waited and watched as these women scurried around the kitchen, fixing plates for all the men. Now you got 7, 8, 9 kids in this house, and the kids are going to get what's left. You understand the difference for me? I sat there and I was like, oh, that's not how we do it at home. My grand would have never. And when I waited politely, the mother said, oh, well, you can eat now. I said, no, thank you. I'm not hungry. And I was starving. I was fucking starving at that point.
Stomach growling
and food smelling good.
Girl. But on
thinking about McDonald's.
Shit, right. On principle, I was like, oh, hell no. Hell fucking no. I'm not going to eat this. No, I'm not going to support. I was a militant little blue brat even way back then. So when I got home and told mom, she was like, baby, those women were taught that. Mm-hmm. And now if you want a husband, you're going to have to do the same thing. The devil is a lie. Mm.
But see, what you're saying is, though, these things was passed down to us, and people carry them. Our peers carry them, and don't realize the dysfunction that we seen. Mm-hmm. We seen more of our elders, family members, sleep in separate bedrooms than we seen sleep in the same bedroom.
Yep.
Okay. But yet we take what their dysfunction and say, oh yeah, that's the way to do it. Because that's why I said there's a difference between catering and being submissive.
Agree.
Right.
I now there's nothing wrong with someone catering. Either way, the male to the woman to the male. But when you talk about submissive and being and for a dude to want somebody to be submissive to them tells me a lot about them. Mm. Okay. Because you have to be in a place. You have to be in a place that you don't want to be challenged. Okay.
Yeah.
That you control everything. Yeah, because see that can't be a partnership if you're submissive, right? It should be. Relationships should be entwined in partnership. But when you're taught that you're supposed to be submissive as a woman, you walk through the door And I hear women, oh, I don't have a problem being submissive. That's because you got a dude. That's because you got a mama's boy. Okay. And this is what it takes to get him, because you need to be submissive because everyone else around him is doing the same thing. His mama is submissive to him. His siblings is submissive to him. So in order for you to fit in, what you got to be?
Submissive to him.
Is his way or no way.
No
and
way.
who want to live like that in a
In
relationship?
society.
For real.
So let's swing that back around to your church folk.
Mm.
Let's swing that back around to your social environments, what however that looks. You hear the whispers of other people say, well, you know, girl, if you won't do it, what you won't do, another woman will. What this man won't do, another man will. There's always that. If you don't fix his plate, I know she over there looking. I was at a cookout in Georgia, in Atlanta, when I lived in Atlanta, and the couple that had hosted it, they were at odds. And this sister with a big booty, the curve, Coca-Cola bottle, the whole nine, she went and fixed this man's plate and took it to him because his wife, they were beefing. And all of a sudden, the wife gets up and she's ready to fight this chick because she fixed her husband a plate. And the husband said, yeah, but you weren't speaking to me 5 minutes ago. We've been all day. We hadn't talked all day long. I don't give a damn if we don't talk for 2 years. Ain't no other broad gonna fix your plate up in my house. He was like, how make that make sense? Now we're talking about respect, because that's what you'll hear next. She's submissive. She respects him. She does da 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 da, but she doesn't have a voice in her home.
No voice.
She doesn't have a voice in her home.
Because you can't speak up. You can't speak out. Okay. You can't even speak out of turn. What about that? The kids have more ability to speak out than you do because you're a submissive woman. Come on, man. Come on, man.
I am
that
all
makes no
for a
sense
man
to me.
being a man. I'm all for.
Well, first you got to find one, but okay.
But I got one.
No.
Oh,
I'm talking
okay.
about finding
A
the
man.
definition of a man
yes.
is what I'm talking about. See, I'm not talking directly to you. When I speak, I speak to the audience. I'm talking to the audience because I'm trying to school them on this. Because we use that term man so loosely all the time.
That goes back to other conversations where we're talking about what represents as a male is more accepted in society than what represents as a man.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we teach male by birth, man by choice.
Absolutely.
And not enough males are making the choice to be a man.
And by deed. It's so easy for males to say what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, but real men do.
That's right. Real men be about it.
That's right.
It.
About it. That's right.
You cannot lead from behind. You cannot lead telling me what I should and should not do and how I should and should not do it if you are not standing in front of me to be certain that it gets done. Because now I still have to do it, whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. I have to do it because you want to lead from back here. You want to be the armchair. What is it called? The armchair quarterback.
Armchair
quarterback.
There's a lot of those.
Yes, they are.
But now let me throw a little sauce. Let me a little sauce on this conversation.
Here we go.
Because now what I'm going to ask you is this: you have a best friend that is in a new relationship, and the mate that she's with requires her to be submissive. She comes to you and looks for your opinion about this submissive nature her new mate has now required her to have. What would you tell her? What would your advice be? Go ahead, Leash. I'll let you start off.
Is this what she wants to do? Is this what makes her happy? If it makes her happy, then if that you happy, I love it. If that's what makes, but make sure that's what she can live with herself, and that's right. Make her happy. Because and don't just think there's something that you can just start and then stop. But that's when the problem is going to be. That's when the fight is going to happen.
Once you open that door, it's open.
That's when
once you open that. That's when the fight going to happen. Then now it's going to. There's a whole.
Don't get a backbone now.
Lisha, you said a whole word, girl. And when you have friends, especially so if you have a friend that's been single for a long time and she finally meets a guy and they getting their vibing or whatever the case is. And like Jay said, she comes to you and she says, girl, he wants me to do this and he wants me to submit that and wants me to turn over my paycheck to him and he wants to blah, 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 blah. And
That's
girl, you know what? I'm just happy because, you know, I got a man, girl. I got me a whole man. No, boo, you don't. But okay. What I've learned, younger me used to say, girl, don't do that shit. What the hell is wrong with you? Okay. I did. I was that person. Don't tell me something that you don't really want. If you don't want to hear the truth, please don't tell me. Don't come to me with that shit because I'm gonna lay it out. What I learned was that my truth isn't the same thing as other people's truths, and I can't expect me from other people.
Exactly.
While she had been single and miserable, she felt that having, and and so you know I'm saying this from a space of having been in this situation. I've had women to say, you know, I don't care as long as he don't hit me, as long as he don't cheat on me and I find out about it. Yeah, oh yeah, listen, wait, I'm not finished. As long as he don't have no babies on me and I find out about it, I'm gonna have a man. I'm gonna be somebody's wife. I'm gonna be somebody's woman. I'm gonna be somebody's whatever, as long as I don't. I said, so you got all these as long as I don't lists. What do you have on the positive side of the equation? Just a man, just some peen? You got some everyday regular peen? That's what this is?
But
baby, dick comes a dime a dozen.
But I'm confused though, because in the term submissive means you are submissive to his cheating. You are submissive to him beating your ass. You are submissive to him disrespecting you in public.
Long as it's only one day a week. Sometimes.
but
on Tuesdays.
You can't have conditional submissiveness. I mean,
that's
that
what
don't make sense.
That's okay.
That's what they share with their girlfriends.
He only hits me on Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? but the rest of the week, he okay.
but you have to be submissive to him hitting you, period.
Exactly.
That's what submissiveness is that you have come up to the plate and said, I am going to allow you to do whatever you like. Whatever you want with whoever you want, because I am submissive to my mate.
Run me as you see fit.
But you know what? But also, there's some people that be like, he pays the bills. I got this new car. Yes. I got this house. I got these bags and these shoes and these clothes. And I got money in my pocket. So yes, he can do whatever he wants, as long as he's taking care of me.
Well, then guess what? Then you take the ass whooping with it. You take the other women he's sleeping with it. You take him calling you out your name in public with it. And then that's fine. But long as you understand that what Lise is talking about is, I don't know what that's called, because that's not submissiveness. In my book, you ain't submissive, because you should be ready and signing up. You know, the contract states, I'm going to beat your ass. I'm going to disrespect you in public, and I'm going to cheat on you. So just let you know.
There's varying levels to everything. There's varying levels. Yeah. To him, he wanted his shoes taken off or put on slippers, or some of the old-fashioned bullshit from the 1950s playbook. You know, I want the hot meal every day. I don't care that you work the same 8 to 10 hours that I work that day. I want to walk in this house and I want to smell food on that stove, and I don't want to have to lift a finger to do it. I want my shower or my bath. I want it run every night. I want the bed turned down. I want blah, blah, blah. That's what his definition of submission was.
He wanted
she was with that, huh?
She was with it because she had been single since, if I remember correctly, like 5-6 years. And she had been married.
She was still single and just didn't know it.
Yeah. And it was so crazy. And so I, at the time, was single. I was between relationships. And she was like, well, you don't understand because you don't have a man. And baby, if I got to go through all of that to get one,
that's okay. I'm good.
I got a whole lot of ain't gotta.
But the sad part, she didn't have a man either. She had a dude.
Hello.
she had a pimp. That's what she had.
Basically. Here we are years later. And whenever I run across each other, all I can do is speak and keep it pushing. Because I couldn't support that. I couldn't do it. I'm not a fake person. I couldn't support that situation. So,
but let me ask the question. We're in 2023 now. Why is this a thing in 2023 about women wanting to be submissive in this day and age?
Because men said so.
Because men said so.
Because men
You
said
mean
so.
you mean dudes or guys said so?
Males,
Okay.
gender identities that the thing with the penises,
Mhm.
they're the ones that make the rules. And social media, again, back to social media,
Mhm.
has helped to spread the message of toxic masculinity. It has also helped to spread the ideology that you're either a hard man and you get your way, or you're a soft man and you being played. Women don't have any accountability. We can talk about, God rest his soul, Kevin Samuels all day, every day. He was the one of the ones, him and another dude out on social media. You can't have a man worth blah, blah, blah if you don't look like A, B, C, and D. Okay.
Which was
But
stupid.
you also have to submit to him.
Yes.
You have to allow him to have your credit card. He needs to have access to your money. He needs to, whatever you have needs to be put in his name, because he should be the head and the lead. Man.
Bye.
But let me say this though. Look at God.
I ain't speaking ill of the dead, but what I'm saying is, sir, you had a heart attack in bed with a woman that you met the night before. I'm just simply saying your high value peen.
But at this juncture, we should not want anyone being submissive in this day and age. You know, you want equality, you want equity, you know. And I think that there's not enough of that going around, because now it's like you said, and I agree, social media has designed the way people see things, not only relationships, but life itself.
Life itself.
And unfortunately, people are so caught up in social media that it runs the way they see things and the way they think. And I just don't get it. You know, I am one to always say, if there's a partnership, be partners, you know. And I'm not talking about that everything is 50-50, but it can't be 90-10. That's not a partnership.
You're right.
Okay.
I'll use me as an example.
Oh, let's not do that.
Yes, let's. But I am the storm. My man is my calm.
Okay.
I know when I'm singing and swinging by my toenails that his voice in my ear sometimes is the only voice that is going to bring me back off the ledge. And I will stop, full stop, and go, okay, all right, you're right. Hold up. Let me back up. That's a form of submission. And I will absolutely take that, because everyone needs to have a calm to their storm.
See, okay. I would say that's the compromise in your relationship.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So depends upon where you're standing.
So submissiveness, see, honestly, I don't call that being, that's knowing your partner. And I compromise to a place of understanding, because he is the trigger that can pull me back when I go overboard. That's not submissiveness, because of, you don't automatically walk in and say, I'm going to do as you tell me. I'm going to move as you tell me. And I'm going to react as you tell me. That's being submissive.
So that's like taking, so I guess that's the reason why we need to take the word obey out of the wedding vows, right?
Ooh. Man, listen. No. Oh, you know what, Leisha.
Let's skip over obey.
Since you brought it up, let me say this. As a man, I don't want anybody to obey me. That's not sexy. That's not beautiful. That's not pretty to me. If I need you to obey me, then just like what you just said, then I need an animal.
Some men like that.
But that's not men. See, again, let's stop throwing men that like that. That's not being a man. Dumb. Okay, because again, that's that male bullshit.
Because you got some stuff we need to talk about, apparently, because this is the third time you brought that up. I just want to point that out. That's time number 3. I'm counting. I'm checking that shit off my list.
Listen,
we got to talk about that.
If you have a person that dominates a relationship, it's not a relationship.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Because a relationship is two people that are relating. If I'm dominating you, then that's not any kind of relating that's going on. Okay. But I
Well, Jay,
get
you
it.
said it first though. When the very first thing you said was it's about men. Some men see it as ownership. That the submissiveness is a form of ownership.
That's what males see. Let's
That's what
keep it.
males. I'm sorry.
Quote me
Keep working
correctly.
with me. Keep working with me
Males.
because
Quote,
I'm gonna get it.
quote me correctly because I'm
Yes,
never
yes.
gonna put
This
a
is
man
true. This is
in.
true.
Okay. Go
But
ahead.
I will say that there are some women who are raised to want that ownership.
Mhm.
They are raised to say, you take care of everything and I do what it is that you want me to do so that I don't have to, number one, and I'm not supposed to. Right? That goes back to slavery. It goes back to being enslaved. The
Yes,
ownership
yes, the
has
ownership.
trickled
Yes,
all the way
yes,
down
yes, yes.
into
Hold
our
up.
relationships.
Just slow down, sis. Because let me say this to you. A lot of people put the finger on the Bible for this, but a lot of it got to realize that this is a lot of the Willie Lynch syndrome that is still embedded in
Indoctrination.
us
That's why I keep
Okay.
using the word.
because that's where it really comes from.
Yeah,
When
the
Massa
ownership.
controlled everything, we seen Massa in a certain way.
Mhm.
And then we got freedom and wanted to still act like Massa.
We're
I
still in
wanted to
charge.
take on the role of Massa now. And I'm going to treat my quote unquote woman as if she's a slave. Who wants that? See, that's the
For
part I
real.
keep talking about dominating all the things, all the terms I use because the shit is backwards. But go
Go
ahead.
back. Go
Mhm.
back.
Go ahead.
I can't take care of myself. That's the thought process that was indoctrinated. You need me to take care of you. There was enslaved who were freed and
Yes.
still stayed
Mhm.
because Massa gave them the comfort and the security. Massa take good care of me.
Mm,
Massa make sure I eat. I got somewhere to
Mm.
sleep.
Mm.
I ain't got to worry.
mm,
That has been passed down in the relationship structure.
Yeah.
That only one person can be in charge and the other person has to be here.
mm. And
Mhm.
it's so
When
wrong.
and
It's
when
a
you hear
partnership.
men now, when you hear men say,
Ah,
"Oh,
there you go
she
again.
too masculine,"
They-
when you
they-
hear
Males.
males say, "Oh, she too masculine, she too aggressive, she too
Ooh.
independent, she don't need a man."
Unless it's
A
in the
man
bedroom.
a male wants to be, unless it's in the bedroom,
Still
and even
need it.
then, and even that's the fourth time I'm gonna put that in there. We're gonna talk about that. That's the fourth time.
Off air. We're going to have a conversation off air.
We're gonna talk about that. All I'm saying is, when you pay attention and you listen to other people's dynamics, you pick up on the cues of where this is really coming from. Only one person can be the leader in the relationship. You can't have two people because you can't have the male can't do this and the woman can't do that and blah blah blah. Who says?
Mm.
As Leisha said before, every couple makes the rules for their relationship. What works for her and her man may not work for me and mine, may not work for you and your relationship.
Right.
Are there
Mhm.
similarities? Of course. That's a
course.
common ground, right? That there has to be some common ground, but no,
Mhm.
I'm not finna be nobody's. No, I ain't finna yes a master, not a goddamn soul.
Yes,
And,
master.
and plus,
I
this is
said what
not
I
the
said.
50s. This is not the 60s. This is
Mhm.
not back when you was just trying to survive and just trying to
Ooh,
feed the
that part.
family, just
Mhm.
That
trying
part.
to make it.
Yeah.
It's not that anymore. But we have to start understanding is that as adults, but our kids are watching us. Our kids are watching social media and listening to this madness. We got to untrain them. We got to break the chain. The
Mhm.
chain got to get broken because here's much of the problem. When you heard the term decades ago, barefoot and pregnant,
Yes.
Mhm.
that husbands wanted a woman that was going to be barefoot and pregnant.
Mhm.
And that was the
Mhm.
thing. And you still hear it now there today, where now dudes just want to get women pregnant and no, you ain't gotta work. And come on. Equality and equity. That's what we should be
Equity.
searching for.
Equity.
That's what we should be searching for. That's what we should want, not submissiveness, not dominating, not controlling, because those things lead to what we see in the paper, murders.
Mm.
Because you
Mm.
can't leave this motherfucker. Okay.
Stalkers.
The moment stalkers, the moment you want to break up with them, they ready to kill you.
Mhm.
No. Because again, if you can't live with you, you should be able to live without me.
Mm.
at the end of the day. You know, but that's
Exactly.
why I say the next generation got to start learning how to get out of this madness and wanting to be more equal than anything else. Even our peers should want to be more equal than anything else.
Let me throw this in here. When you see all these social media wars going back and forth between men and women, the men say, not and the males. Let me make sure I get myself together.
You getting there? You getting there?
Some of the males go, you know, our grandmothers, they put up with this, and our grandfathers, they did that. And I want a woman that's gonna be like my grandmother. No, you don't.
Mm.
Because your grandfather had two other families out there on the side.
Right.
Ooh. And she
Okay.
dealt with it.
And she had to
Yes.
deal with that shit because she didn't have her own money. She didn't
Yep.
have her own name. She didn't have a car, driver's license, none of that shit. So
Yep.
that's not what you want. Don't say that.
And
Don't.
and some of those women would have put a bullet in you too back in the
What?
days also.
Yeah.
They'd have cut you.
Listen.
Granny
Well,
had a
not all of
shotgun.
them.
My great
Shotgun.
grandmother on Bob's side was a gun toting, pistol
See?
packing,
I see.
will throw you in the hog pen, play with her if you want to type. Okay. She
Yeah.
buried. She might have been a black widow. But my point is, when you see these people saying these things, I follow the comments because I want to see where the thought process is coming from. And it's that women aren't being held accountable anymore. So the difference between a woman, you got males and you got men. What's the difference between a woman and a woman? How do we differentiate between
A female and a woman?
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
What's the difference between a female and a woman?
So let me say this, and I'm going to get a little context to it. So too many of our sisters, and I always relate to women as sisters, and I don't like to use the female term because the term, the B word, is always attached to them too quickly and too often.
Too easily.
And that's why I always use the term woman, because it's harder to distinguish between a woman and a female. It is a little harder because your plight is a lot harder in this day and age. Your journey is a lot further in this day and age. We just watched a black woman become the vice president of the country, and she got the most vilified, most disrespect. So that's why I said that black woman, I can't call her a black female. She's a black woman because I have to raise the bar just on GP. So I can't call them a
straight
female,
GP.
just on
Absolutely.
GP
Yes,
because of what y'all go
absolutely.
through. See, and that's why I can, because of the man, and I know what is the distinction of a man versus a male. But a female, to me, is too closely associated to an animal most times. So that's why I say woman and not use the term female. So I just wanted to put that out there. And on that note, we have had another great, amazing episode of Deck Life. Thank you, ladies, for being a part of this journey, our new journey together. 2023 is new, y'all. Audience, I'm going to say it to you. You can listen to us on Spotify. We got our YouTube channel. We got our IG page. We got a lot of things going on. We're going to have reels, videos thrown out there, snippets of this. Follow us on Facebook. We're going to keep this going every week. We're going to have a new episode of Deck Life. So please join us. Get on this journey with us. It's grown folks having great conversation, real talk for real people. And I'm signing off. Ladies, sign off with me. I am Mr. J.
I'm Leisha.
I'm Lisa, aka I said what the fuck I said.
And she say it all the time. Let me tell you. All right, y'all. Peace and love. Be safe, everybody. See you next week. Deck Life.
Next week, you guys.
We out.
We out.